I can still remember back in the late 1980s when I first got involved with computers first and then computer networking, how exciting it was. It was awesome. I also learned about the idea of setting up a batch file. So if we had like 5 or 6 or 100 things that we needed done all the time and it was repetitive and took a lot of time, why not put those puppies in a batch file or a batch job and have them just happen all at once? Sort of like the early days of automation. Well, fast forward to today. Today we have some fairly amazing networks with a lot of network devices. Say hello to my little friend. What is this device? Maybe it's a switch. Maybe it's a multi-layer switch. And what is a multi-layer switch? So as part of automating our enterprise networks, it's important to have a basic understanding of what the network devices do and how end-to-end IP communications works on a network. So that's where I come into the picture with this DevNet, is that they've asked me to come in and provide a really concise overview and information about how IP networks function, why we have layers, what they mean, how they interact. And the reason that's important, it's important for, I think, for 3 types of people. Number 1, you're a programmer, a developer, and you're going to be doing network automation, and you're going to learn how to configure and manage network devices, lots of them. It's important for you to know what these devices do and how they operate so that we know when we're issuing commands or pulling information, having an idea of what these devices do on the network, what their function is. Is it a load balancer? Is it a firewall? Is it a router? Is it a switch? How do they interact? How do they behave? And how do they all work with the TCP/IP protocol suite? The second person who would really benefit from my section of the DevNet content regarding network fundamentals would be somebody who maybe has never taken a moment or two just to kind of really look at how the network functions. They're curious, they use the network all the time, they're familiar with some basic concepts, but they just want a nice tight overview of how end-to-end IP communications work in a practical, realistic way, including the TCP/IP protocol suite, application layers, and how routers and switches and firewalls and load balancers, how do they all fit into that? So I've created some nice, easy content that we can enjoy to take through that as well. And the third element is for somebody who's new to IT. If a person is brand new to the world of information technology and they're not sure where to start, the networking fundamental section of DevNet is going to provide a really solid foundation for you to build on as you start to understand how networks operate and how they're glued together and how data is forwarded as frames or packets across the network. So whatever category you happen to find yourself and whatever level of interest you have in computer networking, I invite you to join me for my section of the network fundamentals as part of DevNet. Now, the next step, after we have an understanding from the network fundamentals piece about how the network operates, the next piece is what is the infrastructure that can allow us to have really good network automation and control of our network? What are the pieces and parts and protocols that we'd want to have in place so we can actually do the network automation? And those pieces are going to be brought to you in this course by Knox Hutchinson and Ben Finkel, who are both amazing. You're going to love them both. And then finally, after we have the knowledge of the basic network devices, what they do, the infrastructure and the tools used to automate, then Knox Hutchinson is going to take us home by walking us through in a Cisco environment how to actually implement the network automation using the methods and tools available in the infrastructure and then working with those with specific Cisco-centric devices for full network automation. So I wanted to share with you some of the benefits of the networking fundamentals portion of DevNet, which I'm super excited about sharing with you. And now I'd like to turn some time over to Ben Finkel. Meanwhile, I hope this has been informative for you, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.